appreciate you sending me money. But to be honest, mom, that's all you've ever had. Money is not going to replace the love that you can't give me.
Okay, so what do you want me to do? I mean, what are you saying?
Let me live my life freely and allow me to be successful and to break the generational curse that you accidentally put on me. I forgive you. You didn't mean to do what you did. You are the way that you are because you went through a lot of trauma, but that wasn't my trauma to bear. And unfortunately, you manifested it into me. And after that betrayal, I'm never going to trust you again.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I was just calling to check on you though, because I mean everybody said they repent, so I just I still want to talk to you from time to time, if that's okay with you, or now I won't bother you. I do try to text you, but you don't text me back, so that's why I called.
Yeah, that's because I spiritually released you. You're not my mom. I had to raise myself. I don't know you. I don't trust you. And I know this may hurt your feelings, but I just can't fake the funk anymore.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a wonderful life here.
I
That's all I
will.
hope.
God got me. I promise you that.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right then.
All right.
All right. All right. Bye.
And that's on no contact for the rest of my life.
Everybody, it's Professor Zeus, and I'm back with another video. And this is your first time on the channel, just know I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. Go ahead and hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. We are taking it the humble route. Today, we're looking at this woman here. I believe her name is Karita Speaks Up. She shared, her personal story about, cutting ties with her mom. And there's another video we're gonna watch in a second. And it's this whole idea of going no contact, right, with her mom and her family. It's it's raw, I guess. It's emotional, and it sparked a lot of conversation, as you can see when I was scrolling through the comments, and it really has me thinking, right? Why are people taking these types of private situations and going on public platforms like TikTok? Is it for healing, or at any point do we feel like we start to overshare, right? Stick around because I'm going to try to unpack this fairly, critically, and try to look at all sides, right? And if you're into these breakdowns and different things like that, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. So okay, so like let's start off with this first video, and then I'm gonna pull up this next video, right? So Karita, she's essentially opening up about going no contact with her mother specifically, but she also saw that her mom was also sending her money, right? And she doesn't give a ton of information about the relationship, how strained it is, and different things like that. Obviously, that's smart, but you can feel like the uneasiness in both of their voices, right? She talked about how there's so much emotional strain, how to spiritually release you. You had so much different trauma that manifested into me and different things like that. And it's pretty heavy from how Krita's, how she's framing it. I guess she's, try to, reclaim her peace. She said she's spiritually releasing her mom. And the comments, they're a mix of, oh my God, you're so brave, and a lot of people also saying, why are you putting this information online? Now, I obviously don't know the full story, and I'm not here to judge, Krita personally, but this really isn't about her. It's kind of like a bigger trend that's going on. If you look up no contact on YouTube or TikTok, you'll see that it's a rising trend of a lot of people essentially this exiling themselves from estranged family, um, parents, siblings, so many different things like abuse, trauma, so many different things. A lot of people don't want to be part of their families anymore. Something that I always say is that you know none of us have power to have a say in the families we come from. So it's our responsibility to have a direct direct responsibility and a kind of a forward thinking mentality and a initiative based type of mentality when we start our own family. Because just because you come from a a family that's crazy doesn't mean you have to start a family that's crazy, right? And this is a huge thing. You can look up no contact on TikTok, YouTube, you name it, right? But it really raises the question, like, why take something so intimate, something so personal, right? And put it out there for millions of people to see, right? Is it worth it?
My video of me going no contact with my mother went viral yesterday, and there's a couple comments that I want to address. Number one, if you abuse your kids, just say that. Because the way that the mothers were appropriating the abuse is crazy to me. Y'all are feeling sorry for the abuser and never the abused. Victim blaming is exactly why people stay stuck in a perpetual cycle of toxicity. Because y'all love to jump to the aid of abusers. That's just like when girls get great. The first thing in the comments is, well, we don't believe you. We need proof. Girl, what? Me running away from home when I was a kid was proof. Me being suicidal in seventh grade was proof. Are you dumb? Like, do you understand the amount of emotional turmoil and abandonment a child has to go through to be thinking about unaliving himself in seventh grade? I was 12. She is a covert narcissist, and y'all are falling for her performative softness. That's what covert narcissists do. They're not outwardly aggressive. They're not going to yell. They're not going to scream. They're going to pretend to play victim. They're going to weaponize your kindness against you and pull strings of guilt out of you. That's what a covert narcissist does. I find it so funny that nobody in that comment section, except for
Look at this comment right here, right? My mom is the exact way, girl. I feel you. Can't take accountability for anything. Always the victim and pretends things never happen, but always sending me money as a way to keep a relationship. She doesn't definitely a hard dynamic to have to work through. So she doesn't say whether or not she, keeps the money or returns it to her mom. What do you guys do if you're in this type of situation? If you got a strange strained relationship with your mom, but she's constantly sending you money, are you sending it back? Are you keeping it?
except for the people who are aligned with me and was able to receive the message, none of y'all noticed that. Did she apologize? What child says that to their mother and the mom isn't like, I'm sorry, baby, what can we do to fix it? She didn't care. She was emotionless, cold, and empty like she's been my whole life. Did she take any accountability? I said that she betrayed me and she just said, okay.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna post both of these videos in the description. So let's look at the argument, right, for putting this type of information out there. A lot of people, especially in the comments, as you guys saw, say these videos are essentially like a lifeline, right? Imagine you're someone who's stuck in a toxic family situation. Maybe you're dealing with manipulation, control, abuse, or who knows what, right? You feel alone, right? Nobody understands you. Nobody gets it. Then you scroll on TikTok and you see someone like Karita saying, I've been there and I chose myself. That could essentially be the push that you need to set boundaries or leave from that family, right? There's obviously real power in that. Studies show, that hearing other people's stories can obviously, reduce isolation and even inspire some sort of action, right? And the way TikTok set up, the algorithm for that matter, the algorithm loves emotional content, right? So these videos reach people who might need them the most, right? So supporters are essentially arguing that it's not her venting, it's a public service and almost like a digital support group, right? And for creators, it might be cathartic, a way to process this type of pain out loud, right? And I get it. Trauma, it doesn't you can't heal from trauma in like a vacuum. Sometimes you need to just, let it all out, right? But if we're getting critical and we look at it critically, not every private conversation belongs on TikTok, right? We saw the video. She's her mom obviously is not doesn't know that she's also being recorded, right? And going no contact obviously is has its own, you know, little thing, but you have to also keep in mind, right? This isn't just your story, right? It's not just Karita's story. It's the whole family story as well, right? All the other people, like the mom, she didn't know she was getting recorded, so there's no way for her to defend herself, right? They don't get it. Like her mom didn't get a say. All we're essentially seeing is from Karita's point of view, right? But what even and maybe you know her mom really is an evil, awful person, right? Maybe they're not, right? We don't know, right? And that's the issue, and that's the risk, right? It's one-sided, right? Posting this publicly can feel, oh, like, you know, it's a power play, you know, I'm releasing you spiritually, you know how to raise myself. But is it fair, right? And then you have the TikTok platform itself, right? TikTok obviously loves drama, right? The more emotional, the more emotions that are in the video, the more likes, the more shares, the more follow-ups. It just becomes an echo chamber, right? You start you start going viral for personal family drama, right? And do you really want to air all that information out, right? You have to ask yourself, right? Are these posts really about healing, or are you trying to chase clout? Because in a sense, this is still content, right? People are still consuming this content, right? And I don't know Karita's intent. I'm not saying she's doing it for this or she's doing it for that, right? But obviously the lines start to get blurry. And once these videos are out there, you can't take it back, right? Her family members, whether or not they're no contact with her or she's no contact with them, they could see it, right? Her friends might start to pick sides, right? And suddenly this whole idea of like personal healing now becomes everybody's business, right? And you just have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Right? Going no contact is a huge decision, right? Family ties, they run deep, they run emotionally, culturally, you name it. But going no contact is obviously, you know, the only way for some people to escape abuse or protect their mental health, right? And it's unfortunate that we've gone to this point, right? You know, posting about it online might have some crazy ramifications, not just for Karita, but all the other people who post about, you know, the no contact trend that's going on, right? Because real life doesn't fit, you know, in a 60-second TikTok box frame. You know what I mean? So honestly, I feel mixed about this, right? Like I feel for Karita, you know, for sharing her truth. Obviously, it takes a lot of heart. And if her video does in fact, you know, help one person, you know, feel less alone, then that's a win, right? But at the same time, I can't shake the feeling like some things are better handled off screen. You know what I mean? With a therapist or by trusted friends or family, whichever, right? TikTok and social media is great for connection, but it's not a substitute for private healing. Let me know what you guys think, man. Have you gone no contact with family and friends, or have you seen these types of videos before? Just Google it. Go on YouTube, go on TikTok, just look up no contact and see for yourself. But do you think these types of videos they help, or do they cross a line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, man. I'm definitely interested in hearing what you guys got to say. If you like this deep dive, if you like this breakdown, give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who can see some value in it, and subscribe for more. Hit that bell notification so you always get notified when I drop a new video. And never forget, it's you and I verse: information, application, execution. Until next time, peace.